Happy that we got one of the, I would say, true originator, in the building, man. Somebody that put on a lot of people, put on obviously one of the biggest artists of all time, but really set a style that a lot of people ran with, man. Shout out to my man JAZ-O in the building, man. JAZ-O, where you at, brother? I see him down there. Yo, yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. How you been, man?
I'm great. I'm great. What's going on?
Oh man, bless, man, bless. Just you already know, man. Just trying to keep things going. Um, thank you for jumping on here, man. I had the pleasure of hanging out with you in Miami one time, man, with Jania Butler and the whole hip hop union, which was incredible. And yeah, man,
sure.
you was cool as a fan, man. Shout out to you for just like, no ego, just being down. And then when Manny Faces said he wanted to bring you on, it was like, of course, man, like for sure, man. So
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very appreciative, man. And like it to me, ain't no other way to be, man. Like, that air shit is kind of corny to me,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm appreciative. I'm glad to be on deck, and I'm happy to be around, period. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do music and present music. This, even though it's Zoom, and Zoom is a relatively new situation. This, these calls like this is reminiscent of, the phone calls, the conference calls from back in the day, where you jump on the line and you talk your talk, and you get questions asked to you and stuff like that. But with the video, today is of course, what goes on now, but it's reminiscent of that. And I think that even though it's new, it's become more personal with the video chat.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. And it's great because like for us, you got history in the game like that a lot of people just don't have, and just to be able to, we may not be able to get up physically, but to get on here and just talk about like what you've done and how you did it and what you're doing for the future. I mean, this is what powers us and lets us know like, yo, you got to keep on going, you got to keep reinventing yourself, and this is how it went down, man. And my thing is a lot of people credit you for a lot of stuff, but then they don't necessarily credit you.
That part, right?
Yeah, for facts though. Yes, you can't deny Jay-Z, but there's a lot of other artists you put on. But my question was, who do you credit for putting you on? How did it happen for you?
Oh man, it was sort of like a collaboration of things, because it was a combination of me being in the right place at the right time, or right places. After my first DJ ever, he passed away. May he rest in power, DJ Stevie Steve. So I started doing stuff with another cat, a well-known DJ in the projects at that time, and we talking about the 70s. And he called himself Cool KG. And he introduced me to a cat named Fresh Gordon. Fresh Gordon, you might know about, produced a few joints for the Fat Boys back when. He produced a couple other things, and low key he actually produced and arranged Push It by Salt and Pepper. But that's another story. So when I recorded with him in his studio at his crib, I met a cat named Marlon Prescott. Marlon Prescott heard me and he asked Gordon, like, so what is this guy doing? Like, this guy needs a deal, or, because back then there was no other thing. There was no internet. So it was like, you want your music heard, you got to get a deal. So he introduced me to my near future manager, Stan Poses, and we did the deal at EMI. I'm the first rap artist ever signed to EMI Records, and that's how that went down. So like I said, it was sort of like me being in the right places at the right time, and a collaborative effort on the part of, different individuals. Now on a creative level, I could say that I always had my own thing, but again, my man Steve Crossland, we both, we were artists. So, we drew, we got out of class all the time. We came up from second grade all the way through junior high school in the same class. And long story short, we both got accepted to art and design, a prominent art school in New York City, along with Fiorella H. LaGuardia High School of Music and the Arts, of which the movie Fame is based upon. And we got accepted for drawing, for art. So being up there, and this is the old building, when it was on 135th and Convent, what happened was, we were then, as Brooklyn cats, young Brooklyn kids, we were exposed to a new thing that was already new. It was new in Brooklyn, but when we heard it uptown, we started hearing the Furious Five, the Funky 4+1, Cold Crush Brothers, Fantastic Romantic Five, all the Zulu Nation groups. And we were in Brooklyn listening to a bunch of, Mikey and Ike was playing in the ditch, and it turned into like niggas uptown going, yes, y'all, to the beat, y'all, a whole different thing. And we're actually, we probably won't get credited until I tell it enough, but we actually brought that whole thing to Brooklyn, because nobody in Brooklyn was rhyming like that. So I came back to Brooklyn basically with the yes, y'all, and you don't stop. So, but that was my thing. And the one cat I can say that when I heard him, it set the bar for me, is Grandmaster Caz from the Cold Crush Brothers. When I heard him, that's what set it off for me. I was like, yo, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta get to that level. His cadence, his vocal projection, he rhymed and he sang as well. And the way he did it, his charisma, I was like, yo, that's the nigga I gotta be, and that really set the standard for me, if you will. And of course, I'm not taking away from, other legends, other geniuses, I would say, like Melly Mel and all the other groups, but I just got it, and Kool Moe Dee. I can't even talk this talk without mentioning Kool Moe Dee. So basically that's where it was a collaborative effort. It was not one individual that, grabbed me and said, come on, let's go. I didn't really have that. I picked and I chose, this is the way I'm gonna go for this. This is the way I'm gonna go for that. And a lot of that is very similar with Jay-Z. He followed my tutelage for a period of time, and then, he was like, I got it now. I get the picture, and he advanced and moved on and did what he did. So.
Dope. My bad. I had to mute myself. I had to let you rock, because you just dropped some bars right there.
Thank you.
So my next question is like, how'd you come up with your rhyme style at that time? Because even to this day, them originated type that flow is still super unique. How did that come about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, was that just practice and you just got to the point where you just got your own thing? Was it influenced by anybody with that? Like, how did that go down?
It was weird. I was writing a rhyme one day, and it was something I wanted to say. I can't remember the rhyme offhand, because I mean, we talking about like 1978. So, but I will say it were too many words, but I wanted to say exactly that. I didn't want to compromise. So what happened was I double timed those couple of words in order to fit into that measure, if you will, or that one line. And I did it, and it turned out nice, but I didn't really pay it any mind. So my DJ at the time, Cool KG, David Gregory, I like to push it on record, you know what I'm saying? He said to me, he was like, yo, what was that you did in that rhyme? Because, you know, we used to be in his crib and we would make, those were the real mixtapes. It was actually a cassette tape. We put it in the box, you know, plug the RCAs and all that shit, so we have a decent, clean sound. And he just starts spinning, you know, 2 joints on the turntables, and I just rhymed for like 45 minutes. And that was a mixtape. So I said the rhyme on one of the mixtapes that we were listening to. After we did it, we were listening to it. And he was like, yo, what the hell was that? Like, yo, you should do that more. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? So I did actually do it a couple of times more, but it wasn't so much like I was marketing that whole style. It was just something that I had the ability to do. And it didn't really become prominent until I heard other MCs, you know, wanting to step their game up and doubling up their words. I was like, oh yeah, because that's what it was back then. It wasn't a personal or beef or nothing. It was like, yo, I'm gonna put my best foot forward and see what you got, and in hopes that I either remain where I am or you make me step my game up. And that's what it was all about. So for the most part, I started hearing a couple of cats. I was like, oh, word. So then I really started getting into it and doing it a lot more. Fast forward to, I guess, 1985. You know, I guess it was about I would say about 8-9 months after Jay-Z and I had met officially, and we did a song called HP Gets Busy. And on HP Gets Busy, you know, we both did a couple of, you know, doubled up, you know, what we call triplet lines in that song. And, you know, it went over good. You know, we had some good run. We got some light radio play with it. It wasn't like it is now where you got, you know, playlist curators and shit like that. You know, we were in the street, you know, we had vinyl. That was the only, you know, they weren't even making cassette, you know, cassette recordings of singles or albums back then. So fast forward a few more years when I got the deal, we did a couple of things, none of which really got on the album. But when it came to my second album on EMI Records in 1990, Jay-Z was saying, yo, we should do that thing, that thing that you did, you rhyme the triplet style and so on and so forth. We should do a whole song like that. Now, to do a whole song like that was Jay-Z's idea. He was the marketing guy. Me, I was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. And so we knocked it out. That was the originators. And it came off big. We did the video, so on and so forth. And fast forward to 1998, we came back. Jay-Z called me about doing Nigga Who, Nigga What, which he originally was just going to title it Originators 99. So they called me to the studio. I forgot the name of the studio, but it's in the Hammerstein Ballroom on 34th Street and 8th Avenue. And I was down the block at D&D Studios, like on up the block, I should say, on 37th between 8th and 9th. And he called me in. I didn't even know what they were calling me for. So when I got in there, engineer was there, a couple of other people, Timberland was there, and of course Jay was there. And he was explaining to me real quick what was going on. And I wrote my verse on the back of a little flyer, and that was Nigga Who, Nigga What.
Damn. Some bars, some crazy bars in this right here. Shout out to Bayani. He said, what was my favorite Timbo beat ever? That's real. Damn, there's a lot of history, man. There's a lot of history, man. I know we want to play some music, but I got so many questions because it's like this is like a pivotal part in New York hip hop, not to mention just hip hop. So after all that, and I know, one of the big things and was that I guess y'all had a falling out or whatever the case was, and you went your own way. And let me know if you want to discuss it, but why did y'all have the fallout? And then when you went your own way, what was your mission? Period. End of story. I mean, even still, dope records still came out, but why did the partnership fail to last?
I don't think that it was so much a failed partnership. We for all intents and purposes, we were family. I think that so much was happening so fast, and there were communication lapses. There were other people involved, the man sitting next to the man. I'll say this, and it's official. There were a few cats around that became tight with Jay, and they would. I mean, to me, that shit is totally gay, and I'm not saying that as a derogatory thing against homosexuals, but you know what I mean. Yeah. This shit was just it's just weak, and they were just jealous of our relationship. The fact that whatever business they had going on, and I just come around when I did come around, and it was about Jazz and Jay-Z, plain and simple. I think they didn't like that. A few situations came about from that he said. It wasn't even women involved. It was he said, now he said, she said. There was a bunch of he said, and I don't think that they liked the fact that I was just upfront, and anything I would say to them, I would say to Jay, and vice versa, you know, because to me, it was like, yo, we all family and we all doing this thing. Yo, let's push it on the table, get it out in the open. If there's a problem, let's handle it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to be little sissy boys, you know, and try to get your way, and you know, just this little shit that I is real petty. But anyway, I think that along with things that were said that I had said, and it was said to him, you know, that I didn't say, you know, came in between, because things, and I understand, like, things were moving fast for Jay, and I'm not trying to insult his intelligence or anything, but I'm saying things were moving fast, and you know, we were all busy, and you know, cats ain't have time to be sitting down and, you know, deliberating over, like, did he really say this and all this other bullshit. So, you know, there were a couple of things like that, and misinterpretations, so on and so forth. And I think that there was a time where Jay wondered why I didn't come around, or I wasn't around like I normally was. And, you know, later on, I guess he realized the reason why is because, you know, he was my younger bro. I fuck with him, but I ain't fuck with all the niggas that he fuck with. You know what I'm saying? So it was only right, like, let me not be around, because let him shine, let him do his thing. If these niggas around serve a purpose, let them serve their purpose, but I ain't got to tolerate it. You know what I'm saying? So, and for the record, it was never really a beef, because, you know, like I've said many times, you know, beef is when you only got 2 left in the cartridge and you behind a thin ass tree and niggas is busting at you. That's beef. All this other shit is like, you know, he say, she say, you know, whatever garbage. So anyway, there was never a beef. There were differences of opinion about certain things, but the love was always there. And, you know, we didn't, I guess it was for about maybe going on almost, like 20 years. Practically, 18 to 20 years until we actually spoke again. And it was a beautiful thing. And none of that shit mattered. It didn't really matter even back then, but none of that shit mattered. And, you know, we move on.
That's real. That's real. And thank you for clarifying that. Like, I think that's a big deal and a big ball. You know, the fact that, it's just miscommunication, you know, at the end of the day.
We see it all the time, right?
Happens to the best of us, yo. Happens to the best of us.
For sure.
All right, let's talk about the new record. I do want to go back. I know people got questions and stuff, but let's play some music. I actually want to play the song first and then come back and talk about it, because that's just like how I like to do it. So fuck it. I want to play Looking Like I said, I was gonna play it, and then let's come back and let's talk about it, and then we can talk about some more history, all that stuff. And I'm sure everybody got questions, but this is JAZ-O, Looking Like, featuring somebody. My bad. Fire though. Fire. Listen, man. Shout out to everybody up in the chat going off rip. Into the fire. Intro is fires. DJ Sweets. Raymond T said, Nip. Rest in peace, Nip. DJ Willie Bangs. Rest in peace, Nipsey. Instant Classic. All fire emojis. Bing bong. Jazz's voice has always been dope. I always respected how he elevated rhyming but kept his voice.
Thank you.
Shout out to Quantum Leap Radio on that one. B Tip said, yep. Raymond T said Hip Hop 101. Willie Banks said We sick getting money. Ain't no cure to real bar spitting. All 100 behind it. Fire from DJ Sweet. I mean, the whole joint. Everybody just got fire emojis. True hip hop. This is what it's like when you wake up. The originator. That's dope. DJ Head Rush.
Wow. Yo, I appreciate all of y'all.
Yeah, Knox Bomb Next Level DJ said bars on bars, fire emojis. Vonnie Blue, that was all fire, 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 fire. That's dope, man.
Yeah, man, y'all warming my chest right now, man.
Man, you made to do this, bro. You were made to do this. I mean,
I love this shit, man. Like, that's my word. Like, I love doing this, man.
Hell yeah. That's what I love to hear, man. And you know, now the gloves are off. Like what do you feel like now that the gloves are off? You can put out music whenever you want. You could kind of, you know, platforms like here, like ours, and get like real promotion, real feedback. How do you feel now? Are you feeling liberated, or do you feel like is it more because now you don't have a label and you got to do it yourself? What's your position on today's hip hop or today's music business?
Yeah, it's both. And you took the word right out of my head, man. Liberated. You know, after dealing with the confines of a record label, you know, a record label that you don't own, so you're put in you're put in rotation, if you will. You can't come out because this album, you know, one of your label mates, their album is scheduled to release and they don't want to, you know, for marketing purposes, they don't want to put it out the same time as you want to put out a project. All of that stuff is, you know, unless you sign to a record label, that's over with.
Right.
And also there's a lot more work involved. And the whole business layout has changed so much. And it's not so much it's really the modus operandi. Like we doing the same things, but you have to do different things to attain the same things. So it's like you constantly relearning stuff because obviously the way you market a record is not the way you marketed a record even as a little bit amount of time as 20 years ago. So it's invigorating, definitely liberating, because you have it's like being in it's like going through grade school and then you go to college. In college, there's nobody standing over you, you know, making sure you do this, making sure you do that. Whether you pass or fail, or what your GPA is going to be, is 100% based upon you. So it's the same thing with running your own little record situation, be it your own label or conglomerate. So it's very it's an exciting time, you know, for me, especially who has seen the record promotion game evolve to this point where you can record, produce, and distribute a record from your desktop, literally. It's crazy, right?
It's real. I was just telling somebody yesterday, I was like, yo, the fact that you can literally do everything at your laptop now. Talk about banging mic, crazy presets, super software, you know.
Bro, $1,500, you can be like you in a professional studio in your kitchen.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Get some foam or whatever, put that on the wall, kill the sound a little bit. You got it all. You got it all, which is dope.
Yeah, and the only thing that can't be challenged is, and I mean that's just for me. I mean somebody else, they may feel differently, is the ambiance of recording in an A-list studio. There's nothing like it. I miss, I miss Sony Studios in New York. I miss Hit Factory. Platinum Sound, I think, is still there. But I miss the ambiance of recording in those facilities.
Yo, Jazz, I had a question, man, and much respect, OG. How old are you today?
Oh man, I'm 40. Nah, I'm 57.
Okay. No. See, and the interesting thing is we just had an artist on previously who was 50. And
yeah, I heard.
You know what I mean? And it's just, some people's made to do this, homie, and you one of them. 150,000%. You know what I mean? So just even having Nip on the front of that on some West Coast shit, just heavy. You know what I mean? So much respect, G. And like I said, man, hip hop 101, real spill. So thank you for joining us today, bro.
Oh, thank you for having me. For real.
Hey,
yo, JAZ-O.
Knox, real quick. I just got to ask you a question. Then you got the floor. I had a question real quick, JAZ-O, about, and this is one I don't even know, like, how instrumental was Kane in your career or at that time when you were sort of doing it? Only because I know y'all had to be around each other at that time. Did he help you at all? Did y'all cross paths musically from the street? I don't, it's just a open question. Gotta be, you're talking about Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Exactly.
How you not gonna? You gotta know. You know what I'm saying? So what was that like?
It was funny because he gets interviewed, and I heard a couple of recent interviews by him, and if people didn't know our relationship, they would think that he hates my guts, or they would think that he didn't like me, and that was never the case. I'm telling you from his account, from his perspective, was, he was coming up, he was doing his thing, and he was getting his flowers, getting his accolades up, and all he used to hear about is some guy named Jazz. Every time they talk about MCs and they talk about Brooklyn, they talk about who's the best and all this other shit, it was me. My name would come up. Now this is him saying this. So I think more than a lot of people that my very existence and what I was doing motivated him. And not saying that I made him as far as talent, not at all. He's a talented brother. He says that good shit. He got the vocal projection, the cadence. He got it. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't no accident. But I can say that my presence motivated him further because that's just how it is. And if he's honest, y'all ever get him in front of a camera or on the phone, he will have to tell you the same thing. And I don't say anything that I can't say in the face of the person I'm talking about, But yeah, right. I mean, yeah, we had, let me see. The one time I ran into him, I was leaving EMI, and I ran into him, and he was like, yo, what's going on? What you doing? I was like, man, and it was around the time I was about to take my first hiatus from the music industry, because, I got to tell you, I'm not an industry dude. You know what I'm saying? I love the music. I love making the music. I love when people enjoy my music. But that industry shit, I know it sounds backwards and it sounds like I got to be the worst businessman in the world, but that's how I feel. I have changed that over the past few years, of course, because, money is money. Everybody needs money. And if you're going to do something to make money, you might as well do something you love. So, so I ran into him and he was like, yo, so what's up with your little man? I was like, oh, my younger brother. He was like, yo, so you managing him? I was like, nah. I was like, that's my brother. And he was like, you got them on papers or something like that? You know, he's inquiring, and I know he was digging, and I know he had a motive. And I was like, nah. And he was like, yo, would you be adverse to having me talk with him? Like, can you give me his number? I was like, nah, but you could give me your number and I'll tell him, and you know, y'all could settle it from there. Y'all could talk, you know. And he thought that I would have a problem with it. And I'm like, nah, because my purpose with putting Jay on in the beginning was the fact that I felt that the most talented individuals should be the ones heard. And even back then, there was a lot of that going on where, you know, you had a lot of no talent bums that were being heard. I mean, truth is truth. So I wanted to make sure that he didn't have to go through half of the shit I had to go through in order to get to a certain point. And so I would never, you know, I never chose to hold him back. And I felt like, you know, let him talk to Kane and see if it's something for him that's going to benefit him, and let him rock. So that was my relationship with Kane. And then we used to go out to Kane's crib. We never really recorded anything, but we used to go out to his crib and listen to shit and, you know, ride around. You know, I used to park my shit and we used to get in his car. Way back then, he had a what was that shit? The old box shaped Volvo 760
Samurai.
Huh? Nah, it was before all that.
I said Suzuki Samurai.
Huh?
He said Suzuki Samurai, but
Nah, it was a Volvo. It was a Volvo 740 or 760.
yeah, those are tight cars. I ain't gonna front. Them joints used to be able to withstand a lick.
Oh yeah.
Bro, that was tanks.
Exactly.
They took the words out of my mouth.
Them
Yeah, it
joints
was tanks.
Yeah,
Tanks, bro. All right.
no.
And this may be too personal. If it is, I get it. When you say that there were things that you taught Jay-Z, what kind of things was it that he took? You said he took them and he was just like, okay, thank you, I got it now. What were these like? Were these the things of like the soliloquies and like the triplets, or was this like business, or what kind of things were you teaching them? If we can ask that.
Well, a myriad of things. When we talking about we're talking about the creative aspect, he was already talented, but his talent was raw. So I sort of told, and he was in the process of acquiring knowledge through school of poetic license, you know, and what I taught him was more than anything structure, you know, structure as far as you know, verses, you know, because it's similar to the structure in, you know, poems and prose. You know, you usually, you know, they're 4/4 beats. Most of the beats that you know, with boom bap, I could say were 4/4, you know, 4/4 time signatures. So the 4-bar stanza would be something that would fit right into a 4/4 time signature. So I taught him the stanza aspect of it. I taught him structure. We both were witty and creative, so we wrote a lot of things together. And then on the business side, the best way to teach somebody is to let them, I don't like to say tag along like he was a sidekick or something, but to have him with me, you know. And that's why I brought him and Irv Gotti with me to London when I recorded my first album. He was there. So he saw everything. He saw me stand up for him. You know, like if you look at the back of the album cover for my first album, Jay-Z is in he's on the cover in the back.
Right, he's in Sophia, right?
Yeah, that, and also that same picture is on the back of Word to the Jazz, my first album. And I had some people at EMI asking me, why are you doing this? And the reason I gave them was the same reason that I was telling y'all, so he didn't have to deal with the shits. And the second reason was the fact that was my bro. And I stood up for him all the time. I was like, yo, this is how it's gonna be. And they kind of subtly threatened me, like, yo, that's not something you want to do, and this, that, and the other. I was like, well, if he's not on the back of my album cover, then I'm not doing anything. And that's how I was. And they were like, shit, they already spent all that money. They were, so I had them, figuratively by the ball. So that's how that shit went down. And I want that on record so that people understand that, I don't do that play talk shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the Migos say, I walk it like I talk it.
Yeah, real talk, bro. Real talk. Listen, I think that so are you saying that you taught him structure as far as 4-bar structure? So basically you taught Jay-Z how to rap a 16-bar format. And then at the same time, did you teach him multi-syllables?
No, I didn't teach him that, but I taught what from listening to me, to be honest, we sort of learned from each other. He had I mean, y'all hear it. He has a great voice. But the projection, he learned from me. I learned certain things from him. I can't really put a finger on it, but we sort of tagged off of each other in that aspect. In the aspect of business, I let him see it firsthand. He had never gone out of the country before that London trip. Irv neither. When we came back, we went on tour. I was opening up for Jody Watley. We did like a 5-week leg with Jody Watley. So he saw everything. He saw like, yo, they give you money for this. They, the record company. Now, I was back when the record companies supported the tours and stuff like that. So we would get, I would get my fee and everybody would get per diems, the whole 9 shots. So he was seeing all of that. He got to see all of that. And I think that was instrumental in him attaining his savvy that allowed him to move forward with other things. A lot of people would like to say that, he took it and ran and just turned his back. That's everybody has their own opinion. My direction that I took, I chose that direction. I wasn't forced into any direction. And I tell some of my closest friends, now I'm telling y'all, for what Jay-Z is to the industry, I could have been that twice over. I could have done that twice. I didn't want that, and I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't need it, and not that way. I don't want that heat. And some people would say, oh, you crazy. You don't want a Billy Mac? Everybody want a Billy Mac. I ain't saying I don't want a Billy Mac or a couple of Billy Macs, but shit, I don't want it. I don't choose it that way. Jay-Z did it his way. And, if I so choose to attack in that fashion, I'll do it my way. Doesn't have to be music. I know way more than music. And I'm not bragging.
Yeah, this is dope. This is real dope. DJ Sweets.
What's good? Want to say salute to the legend, JAZ-O. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. I just want to let you know that this is special. We always get the legends up here, but just want to let you know why you are special to me. 1991, before I became DJ Sweets, I was MC Sweets, and I was nice in these Flatbush streets of Brooklyn. And I had a DJ, shout out to my DJ Franchise back then, who he wanted to be the next Qbert. So he was in these streets as far as making sure he had all the records and he had his routines. And there were 3 records he used to constantly cut up. Originators, JAZ-O featuring Jay-Z, Who Stole My Last Piece of Chicken, Organized Confusion, and Wake Up by Brand Nubian, which eventually led to All for One and then Fudge Pudge. But I say that to say, because he was always cutting up those 3 records, me being a rapper, I learned them. You know, that was what you did back in the days. You learned the raps, and you and Grand Puba were the 2 MCs that taught me that when I came outside, I had to have cadence, I had to be on beat, and I had to be a showman. You know, it wasn't just, oh, I could rhyme, because this is a time when everybody couldn't rhyme. And it made me do things like buy that rapper dictionary that came out back in the days that real rap cats was using to learn how to build their metaphors and all those things, you know.
Right.
And I got so nice. I will say you inspired me that I was one of them cats in the bush, along with DCQ and Medina Green, Mr. Khalil of Bush Babies, Casho Smootho that was down with Marley Marl's project, that my DJ wanted to be a rapper. And I was so inspired by him and his turntablism that I taught him how to rhyme so he could teach me how to be a DJ. And I gave up rap and became a DJ. But it was because of you and Grand Puba that I learned how to take rap serious and learn how to go in these streets and dominate these streets as a rapper. And I just want to say salute to you for that, my brother.
Yes, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And that's why I do this shit for real. Like, to inspire. There's so many different ways that you can go in direction, as far as direction with being inspired, you know. And that's a great story, man. And that further inspires me and motivates me. And I thank you.
All right.
Salute.
That was dope, actually. Yeah, word up. We gotta talk about that later. Shout out a lot of stuff just went down that I didn't even
know. What I'm saying? Yeah, we
gotta talk about that later.
We gotta talk about some stuff.
That's a whole nother thing.
Y'all one of those, I don't. Now y'all like, I don't even know you.
Right.
You just let it out the bag.
That's what's
No
up.
doubt.
I'm saying there's certain tears in this shit, man. I'm like, all right, let's get back to it though.
Swerve, do your thing.
JAZ-O, what is good?
Yo, what's popping?
It was good. Yo, man, salute and thank you for coming up on here. I was definitely on a fleet call when you was on there Monday night, but I know it'd be so swamped on there and, you know, got limited time, but I'm glad to see that you're on here and everything. And, you know what I'm saying? I have definitely, we have crossed paths in the streets as far as me, the label days, me going to get the vinyl from Rockefeller when they was down on what, J Street or whatever, down by the courthouses and stuff and on up. And I ran into a few times, you know,
Wall Street.
Yeah, it was in the Wall Street area, but it was like somewhere around there. But anyway, what I want to ask is, because I know I don't know if you touched on it, your production and what's the tools? You know, I call them tools. What's your tool? What's the first tool that you mess with? The first beat that you produce, besides your projects, the first person that you produce outside of what you did, what you was doing, and what's the first machine that you purchased and worked off of or learned off of?
Okay. The first, I'm a Roger Lynn cat. So when I produced HP Gets Busy with me and Jay and the Ward brothers, I used the Lin drum. I don't know how many people remember the Lin drum. It was a black drum machine with orange writing. And it was one of the first programmable drum machines. But yeah, so for everything else, I had the first drum machine I actually bought was the SB12, not the 1200, but the 12. And the 12 is MU drum machine. The 12, you needed an external disk drive, and the disk drive was like the disk for the disk drive is the Commodore drive that was compatible, and that shit was big like a
Yeah.
45 disc. And yeah, and it took like when you did a beat or what have you, it took like about 45 minutes to save, and you better hope that nobody comes in there and bumps the drum machine or bumps the drive, because you have to start all over again. It was like that. So, but the most prominent, I went back to the Roger Lynn machines, you know, the MP60, MP62, the MPC 3000, the Renaissance. I like the Renaissance because the Renaissance is a good combination of all of them. I also like the 4000, even though the 4000 is not a Roger Lynn machine. I like the 4000. So yeah. So if you contracted for me to do a beat tomorrow, I'd be on that Renaissance.
Okay, so that's what you currently own.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got the X, I got the MPC X and the one in live. One more thing. You recorded in Power Play Studios ever?
Nah. I've been there, but I never recorded in there.
Well, I started interning in there. What about Unique?
Yeah, I've been in Unique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right then, man. Yo, once again, man, I'm glad to still hear you doing your thing and around, and you got two dope joints, and you know we definitely gonna play it. We're gonna service it, make sure the DJs get it and play it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like you said, 57 years old, man. It doesn't matter, man. As long as you still got it, it don't matter how old you is. You know what I'm saying? Just
that's right,
man. Keep on doing it. Salute,
thank you,
man. Blessings, man.
Salute.
Yes, sir.
Dope stuff. Quantum Leap, then Manny Faces, then Head Rush.
Yo, peace, man. First off,
Peace.
Big surprise that you're on here. I did not know you was gonna be on here today, man. So it's good.
Word.
Yeah, but shout out to Digiwaxx because they do this, man. They just, I get surprised every time I get on this call. But I'm the type, man. I like to plug in history, and so there's a couple questions that I have. My introduction to you was the Hawaiian Sophie track. That video used to come on, and back in the days, Rhapsody, MTV Raps, and here in Houston, Magic 102, they used to play like a different version. I think it was like a go-go version, where it had like this cat was saying like ain't nothing going on in the middle of it. But what I wanted to know, man, is with that single, and I don't know if you get
I just stay right there. I gotta close the door because I'm on the call. All right. Well, just crack it. Yeah, leave it crack. All right. Yeah. My apologies.
No doubt. So that on that Hawaiian Sophie single, like, how did you feel about that single? I know at the time, because first off, I used to love it, but I only knew you from that for years up until Ain't No Nigga came out.
Right.
And so I know at the time it was more like, were they trying to like fit you in the same or fit that single in the same genre as like a DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince's,
exactly,
any of their singles or anything like? How did you feel about that single initially?
I didn't want that to be the single, but I did want it to be the single. I knew I understood a few things. One, the fact that that was probably one of the few songs that I recorded that they get, that they could relate to. It was novelty,
Right.
you know, that whole type of sound. It was unintimidating, you know, and my thoughts about it was the fact that if y'all like it, I love it, because if y'all like it, that means you're gonna push it. And that was more important to me, that you push not so much the song, but in pushing the song, you're pushing me. So
Right.
so I let that fly.
And that came before the originators, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, I like the song. I wasn't in love with it, but I like I enjoyed the accolades that I received from it, because it was different. And what I did notice, that a lot of people approached me and they used to ask me like, "Are you from Philly?" You know, I was like, "Why are they asking me? Am I from Philly?" And then I put it
Oh
together. I
no.
was like, "Oh, you think I'm the Fresh Prince out this motherfucker or something?" And you know, so that you know, that part was kind of weird, but it was around the time when you know, a lot of story songs were coming out, you know, scenario songs, and you know, sort of comical a little bit, you know, because you know, you had Slick Rick, you had Dana Dane, you know, and all of them, you know, even Joe Ski Love with Pee Wee Herman,
With
you know,
Pee Wee
like
Herman, yeah.
scenario raps. So yeah, so I was with it, but it wasn't what I ain't make my bones with that song. You know, I made my bones, you know, battling cats in the street, you know, making them feel silly and, you know, shit like that. But we ain't talk about murdering people, family, and all that stupid shit.
Of
You
course.
know, we would just exhibit our style, you know, and bring ourselves up without talking somebody else down. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, the reason why I brought that up is because, like I said, that was my introduction and all I knew you for years. And I said
Right.
I think that was '89. I'd like to say the next time that I heard you or even seen you, because I used to collect videos, was
Right.
that Ain't No Nigga, the Ain't No Nigga track that you produced and was on. And I was like, oh snap, that's the dude from Hawaiian Sophie, which made me go back and watch the video again and realize that Jay-Z was in the video. So I was
That's
just
right.
like, you know, putting stuff together. Now I want to kind of stay back a little bit too. Moni Love had talked about meeting up with Jay-Z and you guys in London. And she said that like it was crazy that y'all had like the biggest flat. And for those of the, you know, flats in England mean like apartments. But I want to get your side of it and what she was saying. Like, what was that like going over there to London? You mentioned London earlier. I was going to bring that up, but what was it like going over there to London and having that type of pull? Because that's what she was so surprised about, was that you guys was able to even pull all of that off, and you're
Right.
from overseas.
Right. Yeah, well, that was one of the perks from my deal, you know. And again, it goes back to what I was saying about Jay-Z not having to go through some of the rigors I had to go through to get to a certain point. And it was natural for me. Like that was my shit, you know. I mean, Biggie knew it before he said spread love is the Brooklyn way. Like that's the shit we were on. Like, you know, cats you ran with, we call ourselves brothers. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if I'm eating, you eating. You know, if you down, then give me some of that low so we can share it, so it's a little lighter on you. You know, so yeah, so that was one of the perks of my deal. We had, you know, it was great. You know, I had I had a car service, you know, and they call every morning, what time you coming out? You know, we would go to the gym, you know, shoot a little ball, you know, work out a little bit with the weights and, you know, go back home, wash up and head to the studio. We'd be in the studio by 11 o'clock, stay in the studio till like 8, 9 o'clock and go out to eat. That was our whole day, and it was plush. When we met Moni, I had a song on my first album called Give a Little Extra, and I needed a female voice. And I mean, we was all guys, you know, it was me, Jay, Irv, my management, and the engineer and producer, you know, all males. I was like, man, ain't no girls. So I had them, you know, hit the streets for all intents and purposes and find somebody. And they found Moni, you know.
So I mean, it can be said, and I think she kind of alluded to it, that like in a way you guys discovered her. She was doing her thing, but in terms of like an American market, you guys kind of put Moni Love on, huh?
I wouldn't say that. I let me tell you, I would love to be able to say that, but I can't say that because it's not true. You know, cool. I would say that we got her first shine. You know, I had, you know, she got paid a few £1,000 or a couple of £1,000 just to say 4 words. Can't beat that. She was mesmerized from that. And, you know, I do have to say, like, everybody, when they hear Jay-Z's name, and I have to say this in defense of myself, you know, and she said it as well. You know, everybody says like, oh, the affiliation, they go Jay-Z, 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 Jay-Z. And she's like, no, she's like, y'all don't understand. She said this shit on the Breakfast Club. She was like, nah, that was Jazz's deal. That was Jazz's whole situation. You know what I'm saying? That everybody was to come along with, you know, and I have to say that. If I don't say that and, you know, and then I'm gone next week, you know, somebody else is going to tell a story, you know, ass backwards, you know, and there's enough of that going on, you know what I'm saying? So for the record, you know, I got to say that, and that's not to down or disrespect anybody, but I'm not going to disrespect myself. And in the name of setting the record straight, you know what I'm saying? I talk my talk the way I do.
And that's why I wanted to ask you that, man, to kind of fill in those blanks, man, because I know a lot of people associate you with Jay-Z, but there's a whole history there, man. I want to make sure that that's known, man. But shout out to you, man. Hopefully you got a radio edit of the songs, because I definitely want to get those in rotation. And I want to say, man, one of my favorite joints from you was The Love Is Gone, the original. And I don't know if you ever heard it, but Ninth Wonder did a remix of that like back then too. Yeah, and, I mean, both of those are so hard, man. I used to keep those playing, man. So shout out to you, man, for being on the call.
Thank you.
By the way, we need artwork for the single as well. We have everything except for Looking Like. We just need the artwork if there's artwork for it.
Yeah, I think I sent. If you don't have it, I'll make sure you get it.
That's fair.
I got it.
All right, yeah, we sidebarring. We sidebarring. It's all good. All right, Manny Faces, the man, the myth, the legend. Man, I put this together. Let's go.
First off, what up, Jazz? What's up, JAZ-O, man?
What's going on, bro?
Hey, man, peace to you, man. First off, all I want to do is give you your flowers. I'm going to save my questions, man, for Throwdown Thursday. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to let everybody else get in. And I just want to give a shout out to you. And I want to give a shout out to Willie Bangs for actually being the avenue and bringing you, you know what I'm saying, to the light, you know what I'm saying? And I want to give a shout out to CL and Swerve Hits for allowing us to bring you on this platform and get your shine on, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Because believe me, it's just due, man. I'm like, believe me, man, you know, I'm over here kind of like starstruck, man. I'm sitting here talking to you, man. You know what I mean? For real, bro. You know what I mean? Because
I
you're a
appreciate
legend,
it.
man. You're a legend, bro. You're a legend, man. You know what I'm saying? And I love it when other MCs pay homage to you. Like I was sitting back, I had to go back and check out the music video with you and Busy and Lazy and Busta Rhymes. You know what I'm saying? And Twista, man. Paying homage, man. Paying homage to you. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Then you take it out on the last verse and kill it. Oh my God.
I appreciate it. I
Hey
appreciate
man,
it.
listen. Hey, that's all I got to say to you, man. So appreciate you, man, coming on here, man, blessing us, man, and flowers to you, brother. For real. Flowers to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes,
I appreciate that. And yeah, definitely shout to CL, shout to Willie Banks, no doubt. Having me up here. You know, shout to everybody. I appreciate all the questions. I appreciate y'all's honesty. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, a lot of people, they cut corners with questions and try to set you up to say something. And y'all, you know, y'all asking direct questions of what you want to know. And that's respected.
No doubt. Appreciate it for real. All right, DJ Headrush and then Sensoray.
Thanks, CL. JAZ-O is DJ Headrush again, man. Hey, thanks for stepping in, you know, taking the time out today, brother. And
No doubt. Appreciate it.
I definitely just want to appreciate you too. And you know, life is short, you know what I'm saying? And we are seeing our icons and legends leave us at a rapid pace, man. And I want to be able to tell you as many times as I can. And every time I get a chance to talk to you, brother, I appreciate you. Because if it weren't for you doing what you did in your day, we wouldn't have what we have to look forward to, you know what I'm saying, as far as hip hop as it is, because you laced a lot of people's boots up, brother. So, you know, you've inspired more than just your city, your borough. You've inspired a nation of people that says your protege is their icon. You know what I'm saying? So think of it like this, my brother. You're the giant who Jay stands on your shoulders. So you know what I'm saying? You inspire an entire culture. Raymond just said it. And you inspired an entire culture from what you did back before we even knew who you were. Half of us wasn't even born when you came out, brother. So salute to you, man. Pat yourself on the back, bro, because look in the mirror and say, you did that, dog. You did that, dog. Like, for real.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, you did that, bro. And like, pat yourself on the back, my king. And we definitely gonna get behind you and keep pressing the issue and make sure people realize who you are before, like you said the other night, a lot of people won't even know your catalog until you go.
That's a bet. That's true.
Narrative. We need to change that narrative, because only in hip hop, we don't know who our icons are until they gone.
I know.
Only in hip hop.
We need a Vegas. We need a Vegas for hip hop artists.
Well,
yes, sir.
I got to cut in and ask, because one of the questions I had is, you know, are you documenting do you have plans to document hip hop from your viewpoint, your standpoint, aka tell your story, you know, autobiography, or just just the history from your perspective? Because I feel like what you said is important in terms of, like, other people will tell your story for you, which won't be the right story. So, you know, being that you are already a writer, have you had plans to work with somebody to actually, you know, write or document your story, and from your perspective, not from somebody else's?
Exactly, and that's the plan. And such a wonderful segue, man. I appreciate it, because we're presently working on, I don't know if you can check my IG. I have the teaser for the bio doc that we putting out. We're not putting out the title yet, but we have the teaser out. We're doing a bio documentary on my career and some pre-career activity. And that's just the beginning. I'm also writing a 7-volume series called Universes. And it's gonna have 7. The book is composed of it's keying on the science of creative writing of JAZ-O, and it keys on poetic license. So I list in the work several cases or several terms of poetic license and examples of them. I also give you know, an introduction for people who may not be familiar with me, you know, sort of like a bio. And the meat and potatoes of the book is centered around the dissecting of some of my landmark verses. So the first one that I'm doing is for nigga who, nigga what, and the different tenses of poetic license will be highlighted in certain ways, like for each line, so that people can understand that, you know, we as lyricists, we're not just coming up with stuff by happenstance. Like we're educated individuals, we're enlightened and intellectual individuals that come up with this shit on purpose. Also, the way it's formatted, I'm also targeting college curriculums, you know, that deal in not just hip hop history, but creative writing. So it's going to be 7 volumes of that. And I'll use a different landmark verse of mine. And I plan to partner up with certain individuals who have landmark verses that made a major impact in hip hop to do the same thing with their verses and tell a story. And also in my first volume, I'm telling a story, the backstory that leads up to the actual performance of the verse in nigga who, nigga what. It's interesting stuff. I mean, I gotta say myself, seriously. I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying it's interesting because as I was writing it, I was like, man, I almost forgot about all this shit.
Sounds like a you know, a freaking Marvel Universe thing too, like its own like world of stuff, not series, but it's all good. Since Ray, go ahead and say your piece. Then we'll play one more
Thanks,
song.
TL.
No problem. No problem.
So JAZ-O, I wanted to say to you, like, man, like outside of your music being great, like you was a dope dude. Like just to like share what you had, share, even though you had to deal with whatever it was, you shared it and shared it to a point where, you know, it helped elevate other people. And a lot of people don't want to do that. People are greedy, they stingy, selfish, you know what I'm saying, haters, whatever. You know,
Right.
I just like big you up. Like I mess with you just because of that. You know, that you
Thank
was a
you.
loyal dude. You took what you had. You may not had millions of dollars, but you had something, a tool, you know, you got yourself in a good situation where you could share it with the squad. And it's just
That's
very
right.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate that, you know, what you were speaking on earlier about just haters, you know, instead of thinking of the team concept, you know, hey, you know, we all rolling together and doing it together, you know, and we
Right.
and just making it a whole nother situation. And you know, you the one who, you know, shared what you shared with you, what, you know, unconditionally without any, you know, hey, I need this, I need that. Like you said, you gave a easier road
Yeah.
for Jay, you know what I'm saying? And yo,
Yeah.
I just totally commend you for that. Like you're a great person, human being, for just doing that early on in your career. So I just like, you know, for that, I mess with you. Anything that is associated with you, I'll definitely promote it, speak on it, everything. So that's all I want to say.
You said a lot. Thank you so much. That warms my heart for real. And that's what it's all about. Like, if you don't have, to me, if you don't have love in your heart, you ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. And if you got love in your heart, there's like millions of dollars, billions, like none of that can replace, love, and all these different words are synonymous with love: integrity, honesty, joy, and that's what, to me, that's what it's about. It take a lot for me to actually say that I can't stand a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It takes so much. And it's not because I'm gullible. It's because we all make mistakes. So there's sometimes, like, I talk to people and they tell me about somebody and I'm like, yeah, well, we all make mistakes. Maybe they're going to turn that shit around. Maybe you should be an example of what they can do to turn that shit around. So, that's what I'm about. I'm not somebody out here that's just giving out free shit to anybody, and because on the other side of that, there's some people who just aren't worthy, or they not worthy at the particular time. And that's just a reality that we all have to realize. But to me, that's what it's about. It's about helping, and not, you don't have to carry somebody to help them. Just show them the way. Give them examples. There's certain things that they think that they can't do, then do it for them and show them that you could have done it. I just did it for you because I love you. Simple as that.
Hey man, before you get up out of here, man, you got a new project. Are you working with any producers on there? Any features, or are you doing it all yourself?
No, I got some up and coming cats. Like the same cat that produced In My Sleep. Luch was here. He's definitely on the project. And I got the humble monster himself, Bink.
I like how you said humble. I caught that joke.
I mean, but that's what he called himself. I'm not.
But no, but look,
trying to be funny. That's what he called himself.
He should. I mean, I think just with everything in the past few years, you gotta establish your credits. It's like you were saying before. Like people have to know what you did, if somebody else is gonna switch it around. So I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. So I mean, I get it. I get it. That's like me telling y'all 100 times I'm a good guy. Y'all gonna be like, why are you trying to convince me of that? But but that's my man though. And but we got a slew of other cats that are up for contributions to the project.
Okay.
And what I'm doing now, I'll be putting out new singles that will be on the forthcoming project. And also I'll be mixing it in as far as releases with singles that I'm pulling from the warm-up that I put out in 2020, because as we all know, the pandemic put a damper on a whole lot of things. And my release for that project was in the first week in February of 2020, and then just right after that, in March, everything got shut down.
Well, Bink got some heats, man. So I look forward to hearing y'all link back up again, man.
For sure. And it's the work. It's the work. That's what it is. Right now we're about to get like chest deep into the bio doc. We have a lot of people that are ready to come out and talk, about about their relationship with me and to me. Some of my longtime allies, like the Locks, you know, April Walker, Walker Ware, Kim Osario, D&Y for Rough Riders, Irv Gotti, Lenny S, you know, Rock Nation. So we putting it together.
Nah, it's dope. Listen, man, I mean, this has been one of those moments in time for us here at New Music Wednesdays, man. Just want to say thank you again for just coming on and being just cool and just talking about everything. I'm gonna play.
Shout out Lenny Santiago.
Yeah, most definitely.
I want to play this other song from the warm up and to let you go. I know you got things you got to do, but we'll play "In My Sleep" for everybody. And you already know, New Music Wednesdays, we on JAZ-O.
Yes.
Word, man. Legendary
Appreciate
times, legendary career, and I'm happy that you know, like you said, man, you are emancipated and free to do what you want to do.
Yes.
Without any more of the you know, the gatekeeper BS that's held us down and back for, I don't know, 200 years in music. I don't know how long music probably was. At least 100 years old. So I mean, it's ridiculous. But
right.
To be free now to do what you want to do, man. There's no other time like it, man. Shout out to Willie Bangs in the building. Shout out to everybody
Definitely.
and is here. And yo, man, yeah, JAZ-O, whatever you need. I'm sure a lot of people here. I'm sure there's a lot of you know, shout out to the Nerve DJs, shout out to Fleet DJs, Next Level, Core, all the other DJ networks that tap in. If I forget you, it's not personal, but I'm sure they're gonna want to interview you too and show you same support and love. And I think this is
No doubt.
another
ready.
great way. Yeah, this is the way to do it, man. But yeah, man, thanks for joining us. And yo, bro, we got your back. The record is fire. I'm not gonna lie, like I just think it's a matter of people hearing it, knowing that it exists, and the support will come easy, you know what I'm saying? So
right, that's why I'm here. I mean, it's, you know, you guys are there to help, and I appreciate the support. But I gotta be here. I gotta make my presence felt. You know, I gotta be available for y'all guys, because y'all the ones that are the backbone. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't play it, it don't get heard.
Yeah, facts, man. It's all love.
No doubt, and I appreciate it.
Last question. I mean, shout out to you. I guess you did answer this though. You know, you shouted out to DJs that were influential for you. But was there anybody that you might have missed? You know, DJs that, as you were coming up, that were influential in your life?
Oh yeah, DJ Frankie D. He was DJ out of Marcy. DJ Lance, they called him, he was DJ Master B back in the days. Was it Master B? No, it was Master D. And you know, he passed away a little over a year ago. Oh, DJ Keith Watkins. We probably have a slapbox match if I ain't mention him. That's my bro. We in touch. We in tune to this day. Man, it I mean, Grandmaster Flowers.
Did the humble cat Clark Kent? Did he help along the way as well?
What? Yeah, Clark. I knew, it's funny. I knew Clark before he was a DJ. So it kind of left me for a second, but most definitely DJ Clark Kent, not only as a DJ, which he is a fantastic and entertaining DJ, but as a producer, you know, we stayed in tune with so many things. He advised me on a lot of things, some of which I took his advice, some of which I didn't. He was like, Jazz, don't listen to nobody. I'm like, shit, because I got it all in my head. I heard this beat before I put it in the machine. But that's my bro. Clark is a genius. He puts samples together the way few people can. He chops them up the way few people can. I could talk about Clark for an hour. But
yeah, you notice I ain't mean to bring you down the road, but
no,
you notice
no,
I said you
no,
notice I said humble. You notice I said humble though.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, shout to DJ Clark Kent. There's so many other DJs that not coming to my head, but you know, I know time is short, and you know, they know who they are. They definitely know who they are.
Word, man. Well, shout out to the DJ for sure. Shout out to you. It was great history and just great, just knowing where everything sort of like how it started for you and where it's going. And like I said, man, we are allies in this. So whenever you're ready, feel free to reach out, and we got your back, man.
All right, thank you so much.
No doubt.
Thanks for everybody. Everybody asked questions. Everybody that tuned in. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got the email. Make
I will
sure.
email you for the artwork, by the way. I will do that.
Okay.
For the
okay,
single.
and make sure, like, cause I saw it come up on the screen. It wasn't spelled right, so maybe I should reiterate the email one more time just for security purposes. Y'all want me to do that?
Yes. Hold on. Let me write. All right, I'll do it one more time. Go ahead.
All right. It's booking at KINGZ KOUNTY music.com.
Dope stuff, man. Dope.
Salute, DJ Sweets.